Over the several centuries, Boston, one of the oldest and most historic cities in America, has evolved from a little colonial town to a thriving global hub. Here's a visual timeline of Boston's most iconic sites from its founding days to the present. This timeline will feature black and white images for older landmarks and color images for modern additions to showcase the city's evolution. 1600s to 1800s. The colonial and early development era. Our story begins in 1630 when a group of Puritan colonists arrived in North America. They landed in Salem but moved south in search of fresh water, settling on the Shawmut Peninsula in September. There, they met Reverend William Blackstone, who was the sole resident of that peninsula. He guided them to a fresh spring and left his land in the hands of brethren. Later, Puritans settled there and found one of the oldest cities of the United States called Boston. By 1713, Boston had a proper government system. They built the Old State House, which prior to the Revolution housed the colonial government in Boston. The colony's royal governor utilized this building as his office and would often make announcements from the balcony on the second floor. By 1770, the English Parliament and the Boston colonists were at odds over the issue of taxes. These rising tensions led to the Boston Massacre of 1770, in which 7 British soldiers fired into a gathering of angry Bostonians, killing 5 and injuring another 6. It occurred just outside the Old State House, marking a turning point in colonial resistance against British rule. Just 3 years later, the Tea Act of 1773 let the British East India Company sell tea directly to the American colonies, giving them a monopoly. It didn't add new taxes but kept the existing tea tax from 1767. While meant to help the struggling company, it angered colonists who saw it as unfair. This led to the Boston Tea Party, where protesters dumped tea into the harbor, increasing tensions before the American Revolution. In 1788, delegates of Massachusetts carefully reviewed the U.S. Constitution and agreed to adopt it, believing it would help unite the country, ensure justice, and protect freedoms. Ratifying the Constitution helped Boston by strengthening trade, ensuring military protection, securing fair representation, and limiting federal control over state affairs. The new nation kept flourishing, and by 1826, there was a huge need for a larger marketplace, so Faneuil Hall was expanded with Quincy Market, which became a center for trade. By 1848, the city had established the Boston Public Library, which holds the status of first large free municipal library in the U.S. and first public library to lend books. This place reflects Boston's commitment to knowledge and education. 1900 to 1950. Industrialization and cultural foundations. Boston began to undergo a cultural and industrial revolution in the 1900s. As a result of the numerous new construction projects, Fenway Park, the oldest Major League Baseball stadium, opened in 1912, symbolizing the city's love of sports. However, things didn't go as expected for Boston, because in 1919 the Great Molasses Flood ruined its north end, leaving a lasting mark on Boston's history. At almost 35 miles per hour, the molasses rushed through the north end. It suffocated people and animals, smashed buildings, pushed a firehouse and other structures off their foundations, and knocked an elevated train off its tracks. Despite the setbacks, the city of Boston bounced back again. By the 1900s, the city's port grew. More space was needed. Boston's Custom House, which was built in 1849, was expanded by adding a 32-story tower. At 496 feet, this was the first skyscraper of the city. Boston kept progressing, and the 1940s saw the expansion of Boston's subway system, which was first built on September 1, 1897, further modernizing the city and improving urban mobility for both residents and visitors. 1950 to 2000. Urban renewal and cultural growth. The latter half of the 20th century marked a period of urban renewal and cultural expansion for Boston. The skyline changed once again in 1965 with the completion of the Prudential Tower, introducing a new era of commercial development. It is 750 feet with 52 stories, and it remained Boston's tallest building for almost 15 years. With all these new constructions, the environmental concerns started to rise, and Boston Harbor kept getting polluted. The Boston Harbor Cleanup Project began in the 1980s to restore the heavily polluted harbor. The project focused on upgrading sewage treatment facilities, reducing pollution, and improving water quality. The Big Dig, one of Boston's most ambitious infrastructure projects, started in 1987 after Congress approved funding for it. Officially, It began in 1991 and was finished in 2002. By moving important highways underground, this enormous project aimed to reduce traffic congestion. In addition to successfully easing traffic in Boston's downtown, it made room for over 45 public parks and plazas. Despite several delays and cost overruns, this architectural wonder significantly transformed the cityscape. By 1995, Boston enhanced its public spaces further with the completion of the Boston Harbor Walk, which started in 1984. This scenic path improved access to the waterfront, allowing both locals and tourists to enjoy breathtaking harbor views. 2000 to present. Innovation and revitalization. Boston had a successful start to the 21st century. For Boston, this was a time of urban renewal and creativity. After the Big Dig was completed in 2007, the city's transportation infrastructure was completely changed, with green areas and a more pedestrian-friendly atmosphere. Just when things started to go smoothly, Boston faced a heartbreaking tragedy in 2013. During the 117th Boston Marathon, brothers Tamerlan and Dzhokhar Tsarnaev carried out a deadly attack, setting off 2 bombs near the finish line. 3 people were killed, and over 500 were injured. Following the tragedy, Bostonians showed remarkable resilience and unity, which served as a catalyst for the Boston Strong movement. By 2016, Boston started to focus more on tech and innovation. Soon, Seaport District became a thriving center for innovation and technology. The district, which was formerly an undeveloped waterfront region, turned into a hub for large tech businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs, enhancing Boston's standing as a leader in innovation. Currently, Boston is focusing more on sustainability by expanding green spaces and launching carbon-neutral initiatives. These efforts reflect Boston's commitment to combating climate change and ensuring a healthier future for generations to come. The future of Boston. What lies ahead for Boston? The city is embracing smart technology and AI-driven transit solutions to improve urban mobility. Waterfront redevelopment projects are also underway, and as a global leader in education, innovation, and culture, Boston continues to inspire and shape the future, just as it has for centuries, just as it has for nearly 400 years. It looks like the future developments will make the city tenfold better. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this journey through Boston's history, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content. Let us know in the comments what you think about Boston's transformation over the centuries. What era of Boston's history interests you the most? We'd love to hear your thoughts.